it has all come to this. One last time for 2019, you guys. What's going on, you guys? Slim here too. That's right. We're going to profile my babies one last time for 2019. I'm sure a lot of you have kind of seen that, like, we haven't done much update on the Thunder Dragon deck. Honestly, there hasn't been that much to update. There are a couple things that have changed, but really, I just haven't been to any events since YCS Dallas, so I haven't actually been doing anything with the deck. I did make a couple changes to it, took it to a couple locals, and I've been playing Grand Maju too as well, so that'll be something we'll see probably more in the new year. But there's no denying this has been the deck that really has, kind of defined the channel and kind of been like one of the most profiled decks on the channel next to Mech Knight Invoked. I really, really love this deck. I love everything about this deck, and even though it is not the best deck, I think it's definitely still one of the top probably 5 decks, maybe probably in the top 10 at least. I know Colossus has a terrible matchup against Orcus, but you guys will see in this updated build that we, tried to account for that. I took some inspiration also from Typhoon, the guy from the Alibaba card games. I'll link his deck profile down below, or their channel down below. He's a really good Thunder Dragon player, someone I look up to when it comes to Thunder Dragon players, and I noticed how he last piloted the deck. He ended up getting second place at one of the regionals, and I took inspiration from that. Pretty much almost having the same exact main deck and extra deck. I learned a lot from his, inclusions in the deck. There are some things that have changed in it, so we're going to get into it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Smash that like button for the last Thunder Dragon deck profile for 2019. Known fact, if this deck does not get hit, and God forbid, we know I don't want it to, but if they don't do something about this deck, it's going to be one of the most insane decks come April 1st of 2020, because literally a Solar and a Hawk, it ends on 3 Colossus, and you never even have to link summon, so it's insane. But yeah, we will get into it right now. Not a lot of the regular stuff needs explaining, so you guys know the usual suspects. We've got, of course, 3 Thunder Dragon, 3 copies of Dark, 3 copies of Hawk, 3 copies of Roar, 3 copies of Matrix, and the 2 Duo, which rounds out the entire Thunder Dragon package, basically. You need all of these. You need 2 copies of Duo. I won't ever go as far as to play 3. I tried it. I just can't do it. Andres Torres is the only one that I know that can do this. It's so hard to play 3 copies of this card because you brick on it early. However, this card is still insane. Being able to win your grind games with it is nuts. Easily one of the best cards in the deck, but I just like having 2 copies of it because you need setup for it. And even though it's not hard to set up with these cards, I think it's still better to just have the 2. It just works out better. And yeah, all these other cards you need 3 of. Like, there's just no denying. If I were to think of anything they would hit on this, maybe Hawk. The ability, I think, what did they put Roar? I don't remember which one in OCG they put to 2. I think it was Roar. It was just weird. I mean, I understand, like, it's the one you want to banish the most, but still, like, putting it to 2 I don't think really would do anything, because I've played versions of the deck that only played 2 of it. I even played 1 copy of it ages ago at YCS Atlanta, so I wouldn't be surprised if this card goes down in play, but it's fine. Yeah, these are all the Thunder Dragons that you need. They're the best ones, obviously, and I don't think you can ever really differentiate, especially in pure Thunder Dragons, to play any less. On to the normal summons. My favorite normal summon is still 3 Aloof Lupine. I just love this card. You always get something off of it. It doesn't matter if they hand trap the other effect. You always will get something off of it. Opening this in Roar is the dream. Banishing Roar with this is the dream. Banishing Dark with this is the dream. All this stuff is the dream. So being able to do that is just insane. I love this card to death. I still play 2 Solar. So I actually chose to forego Desires, and I really had to go back and forth because I realized that in the games I played Desires, some of the games I won, a lot of the games it actually just it hindered me, and the reason why I say that is even though you are getting a plus from the draw, sometimes you do banish key cards. Banishing copies of OG Thunder kind of sucks. Not banishing your copies of Fusion can suck. Like, I was not a huge fan of Desires in this deck. I tried so many times, and in the end, I went back to Solar. The reason I went back to Solar is that you can still do a lot of things with Solar. Its generation of the token is super important. Being able to open Solar and Hawk still makes Appaloosa. It still makes a really good board, and I like it. That's the thing, is that I still wanted to be able to, normal summon Solar, still send Roar, still do things, especially having Hawk. I mean, you just generate so much advantage, it's insane. And yeah, these are the only normal summons I wanted, so the 5 normal summons. You guys have seen this before, it should be no different. And then the last part of the deck, of course, is hand traps. And yeah, it's basically the usual suspects again. There's something new in here, but you guys will know why it's in here. So of course, 3 Phantasme, Every deck, I know you guys, every single deck, they're always in there. Now, do I think this card will see less play in the come April 1st? Yes and no. I feel that yes, this card will see less play because, you know, people will not be link summoning as much, but decks will still need to link summon depending on what their strategy is. So my advice is if you have these, if they've gotten their mileage, you know, keep them. We don't know when the reprint is coming. I know this card is slowly losing value, but I still would not get rid of it just yet. I think this card is still amazing. And you have to remember, we still have X amount of months and X amount of events to play in our current state of the game. So do not get rid of this card if you're playing in any upcoming competitive events, because you will be very sorry that you did, because you're still going to need this. All the decks are still remaining the same until April 1st. And even if we get a ban list, link monsters are still going to be very prevalent. So my advice is don't get rid of this card just yet. You know, once you know you're not going to any more events before April 1st, then yeah, you can decide what you want to do with it, but I would not get rid of this. This card is still insane. It does everything you want to do. It's also a dark for allure at worst, so it's amazing. More generic stuff, of course, 3 Ash. I mean, this card is still just one of the best, you know, one of the best hand traps in the game, period. You know, we talked about just how, you know, even though it's once per turn, this and, you know, the new hand trap, you know, the autumn shower, was it the evening crescent and autumn shower, like, even though it's once per turn, like, that doesn't matter. You just want to see the card, and yeah, Ash is just insane, just one of the best. And then the last monster in the deck, and definitely deserves its spot, is of course the homie DD Crow. And I always say the homie DD Crow because DD Crow been rolling, you know, since in the old days, playing this card, not once per turn. This card is just so good. Like, it helps you against Orcus more than you can imagine, because yes, that matchup sucks ass. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't, but Crow is absolutely insane. So good against Orcus, so good against Salamangreat, so good against pretty much every matchup, just not that good against the mirror. The only thing you can really hit in the mirror is the Thunder Dragon Fusion. It does come up, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, Crow has been just absolutely amazing, just so good again against the decks I mentioned, and you know, you just interrupt your opponent and it just does so much for the deck. And again, it's another allure target at absolute worst, so I love it. I love having, you know, ending on just a Colossus and then having these to back it up is so insane. You can win so many games because Colossus is already a hindrance for a lot of decks, and then being able to further disrupt them with hand traps just makes this deck so good, and I just love its grind game too. So yeah, so that is all the monsters, and now just the spells. Spells are very basic. You've seen all these before. 3 allure for draw power, the 2 fusion, and the 1 gold spark. That's all the spells. Not playing desires. Again, you can play it if you want to. I just have gone back and forth, and I have the hardest time with desires. It's basically just a personal thing. Certain decks, like, I've been able to play desires in without a problem, but this deck, I don't know, it just has never really synced up for me. I don't know what it is, but I know the card is really good. Obviously, it's desires, you know, it's draw 2, but I just haven't been able to make it work for me. However, if it works for you, you know, play it. You could always just cut the solars for it. That's what Tayfun's list was, is he didn't play solar at all. He just played aloof, and then he played 2 desires. Draw card wise, allure was plenty, and just being able to, you know, reshape my hand with Phantasmi, I was still able to do everything I wanted to do and then some. So yeah, so these were the only spells I needed. Just very standard stuff. I wouldn't play 3 fusion. I know some people do. I just don't want to brick on it early game, so that's the reason for that. And then the only trap, of course, is infinite impermanence. We're playing a total of 12 hand traps, and I feel that they are the best hand traps right now. Impermanence is insane. Just there's nothing else to say. You can play it going first or second, and all the other hand traps have, you know, they have their reason why they're there. So that's it for that. And then just on the extra deck real quick. So the extra deck, only a couple things have changed, but yeah, for the fusions, 3 Colossus, and of course 3 Titan. Titan is still insane. Being able to disrupt your opponent is nuts. The card is huge. 3,200 is huge. Boosting it up to 3,700 with Matrix is nuts too. Those little interactions still come up as like old school Thunder stuff, but it still comes up and it can win you games. Like, you can win games in the damage type just by, you know, adding the extra 500 for Matrix. So it's just insane. Like, you still need to play these cards, I think, at full sets of each. And then the Link monsters, the 1 Link Karibo for the Matrix. Lambda, still playing Lambda because with the Loof Lupine you need to be able to do something else because you can't make summon summoner, so you need to be able to make Lambda. It does come up. This card's pretty good. Also can sometimes be a light to summon the duo, which sometimes comes up because sometimes you don't get the light in there, and that just helps you get there. But one of my favorite additions to the deck is 100% IP Masquerade, and this card is nuts. Like, this card is just so ridiculous. Like, being able to just disrupt your opponent on their turn is nuts. Being able to make a Phoenix, or no, being able to make a Unicorn unicorn is ridiculous. Sometimes you can even turn this into an Appaloosa, which is ridiculous too. So being able to have extra monster negates is nuts. I think this is one of the best Link monsters ever printed. So huge fan of this card. Great addition to the deck. And it's also a dark, which is nuts. So that helps a lot too. And then some summoner, I mean, self-explanatory. Unfortunately, I don't think this card will be necessary come Master Rule 5, but we got to play it right now because, again, we're still in the same format. And then the Nightmares, the Phoenix, and the Unicorn. That's very standard. I love doing Masquerena into this and just, you know, spinning away another card. It's insane. So really strong. And then my favorite Link, you guys already know, the BLS Link. This deck makes it so freely, and this card is just nuts. So hard for the opponents out, this card. And then Appaloosa, again, if you open Solar Hawk, it's Appaloosa. You could also IP Masquerena into this. They burn through plenty of sources, and then you have this to negate another 2 monster effects, and you can just win the game off that, so I love the card for that. And then the last card I play is Dingirsu, and Dingirsu is just because out of all the rank 8s I could have played, I thought about Harbinger, I thought about Sanafon. I just love Dingirsu. I love its ability to just send a card, its ability to, you know, just protect my field, and its ability to just, you know, bypass really problematic cards that you can't really deal with. And yeah, this card does it the best. So yeah, so that's it, you guys. That is the last Thunder Dragon deck profile you guys will see here on the channel for 2019. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. You know, shout out to all of you who have been, you know, part of the Thunder Gang, hashtag Thunder Gang with the lightning bolts, you already know. We just, you know, we're gonna keep making this deck work, and whatever happens on the ban list, you know, bring it on. We're still going to make the deck work somehow, unless they ban Colossus. Just don't ban Colossus. Leave it at least one. We can find a way to make it work. If they can play it at Worlds, we might be able to find a way to do it. So yeah. But yeah, overall, what more can I say? One of my favorite decks to ever come out. I rank it up there really high with Dino Rabbit. I rank it up there with Dark World. I rank it up there with Mech Knight Invoked. All those decks have been some of my favorite decks that have ever come out, and this deck has definitely solidified itself as one of, like, just my bread and butter decks that I just always come back to. And whenever I don't know what to play, this is the deck I go back to, and it, you know, it never really fails me. So I love it to death. And even though it hasn't had, you know, the best placement in the format, and a lot of people prefer the combo build, I still love Pure. It's where the deck started, and it's where I always come back to, because you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So yeah, but those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to smash that like button if you did. If you guys are trying to build this deck, you know, deck's been reprinted multiple times. All the cards have been reprinted multiple times. You can use my TCG player links down in the description below. A portion of what you spend will go back to the channel. It helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. But yeah, hashtag Thunder Gang. That's all I can say. We made it all the way through 2019. In 2020, I don't know what's going to happen on the ban list, but we're still going to hang on. We're still going to do whatever we can with this deck, and we are going to continue to just innovate it, because there are plenty of Thunder Dragon players. There's a whole Thunder Dragon community on Facebook, and Thunder Dragon players around the world that will still play this deck, and I love you guys for it, and thank you all for the positive support of me playing this deck for as long as I have, and we're going to keep playing it until, you know, we can't play it no more. And hopefully Colossus, hopefully you're still here with us, buddy. That's all I can say. That's all I want, is I want to be able to slap down as many Colossus as possible, and, you know, just play the game that I love, playing the deck that I love. But yeah, that's all I got to say, you guys. Last video probably for 2019, but I had to do it with my babies, and we did it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the new year, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.